it one last time. The place has always had a calming effect on me. But today, despite standing in a place similar to it, anxiety easily washes over me as soon as I step out of the car. The sound design for this game is fantastic. So like that one sentence of, oh, the anxiety is still like washes over me as soon as I'm out of the car, and basically as soon as I said car, you hear a car door shut. Quite used to dealings with people I've never met before, thanks to my work, but still, I don't know him. Despite the fact both Ash and Becca have vouched for him, what will he think of me and my story? What if he thinks I'm crazy? Hell, even if my own friends thought so. I draw in a breath to quell the panic beginning to rise in me. Oh well, only one way to find out. A few hesitant steps forward, and then Ash suddenly pulls me back with by my elbow.
Hold on, scaredy cat, not too fast.
Without warning, he flicks my forehead. Hard.
That hurts! What was that for?
He's already walking away when I look up. And I hurry to catch up with him, puzzled. I really don't understand this guy. At least explain why you're flicking other people's foreheads all of a sudden. So rude.
Get yourself together, will you? He's not going to bite. He's very accommodating too.
I wasn't scared of him or anything.
You don't look like it. Didn't sound like you were okay last night either.
Oh, he's so concerned. Huh?
What was that last one? Hey! Don't just ignore me!
All the questions and retorts die in my mouth once he opens the door to the shop. Cast iron bell attached to it chimes softly announcing our arrival. Smell of freshly brewed coffee welcomes us as soon as we step in. Like the usual, several tables and chairs have been set up for the patrons, but most of the customers have forgone them in favor of the more comfortable throw pillows and beanbags the staff has laid out on the floor. Becca would love to know if they have something like this on Sundays. She's been complaining about how uncomfortable the library chairs have been for a long time now. Ash leads me to a secluded spot near a window where an old man, probably in his 50s or 60s, is seated enjoying a brew and a book.
Professor Clark.
It's just Andrew now. I'm no longer your professor, Detective Inspector Frey.
So he is a police officer. This guy, Andrew, looks up from his book and gives me a smile. A sheepish look crosses Ash's face after the old man's admonishment. More unusual in my opinion is seeing him appear like a parent that has just scolded him. But it suggests a familiarity between them, one that goes beyond what someone expects from a simple student and mentor. With another warm smile, he gestures for take the empty seats opposite him.
Have you been waiting long?
Quite some time, but I come here early on weekends. Best time to get their first serving of bear claws. They're the only place that serves it here. I took the liberty of ordering for you two. I hope you don't mind. I thought it'd be best to talk over a decent helping of coffee.
Soon enough, a waiter brings us 2 more cups and sets down a basket of pastries.
Aren't you going to introduce the lady?
Ah, right. Sorry. Isabella, this is Prof. Andrew. He's one of my professors back at the university. Andrew, this is Isabella Santos.
Santos. Portuguese? Spanish? Brazilian? Mexican?
Filipina, actually. It's a pleasure to meet you, Professor.
Ah, your name carries a lot of history, Miss Santos.
Does it now?
Just Andrew is fine. Don't do what Ashton's doing. He doesn't listen to this old man.
He doesn't listen to anyone, more like. The awkward tension typically present in first meeting dissipates after that. I was expecting someone strict and, to an extent, someone severe. But Professor Andrew Clark is definitely the opposite of what I had in mind. The more personable kind, similar to a grandfather who dotes on you and your family gatherings. It's obvious why Ash has taken a liking to him.
Ashton tells me there's something you wish to discuss that I could help with. Let's hear it then.
I gave Ashton a hesitant glance, but he just nods and gestures towards Andrew with his head. He's leaving this to me. It's my story to tell, after all. I keep it short and concise. I found a letter in this old mansion. Now I'm cursed. Exactly as I've told Ash and Zach when they asked about it. I don't mention the name of the place. No use saying it now that someone else legally owns it. No use dragging other people into my problems.
I'm sure it's that letter I found. But I don't know anymore. I just want to know how to escape this nightmare.
Of course. We're talking about the one in Anslem Village, aren't we?
It's going to take a long time to get through all this.
How did you...
The average playtime for this I've seen is somewhere between 35 and 40 hours. It's going to take me a long time to get through this.
Don't look so surprised. There's only one place popular enough here if we're going to talk about hauntings. I once had a colleague who wrote about it and the urban legends surrounding the place. Years worth of study, but fascinating. It's a shame he passed away at such a young age. He would have done a much better job at explaining topics like this one compared to me. Ashton here might disagree, but it's an interesting topic in sociology, if you care to have an open mind.
Studying the science and theory behind it is completely different from outright believing in it.
You don't believe in those stories, sir?
Now, this isn't a question of belief. All I'm saying is things like these speak a lot about a place's culture and history, and it's not just limited to ghosts. Monsters, gods, you name it. Even you, Miss Santos.
What about me?
How you respond to these stories. It tells a lot about you and your upbringing, in the same way it tells me why our detective inspector here finds such topics absurd. Interesting, isn't it?
My head is starting to spin from all of this. I'm not the smartest person around, but I understand what he's trying to get at, I think. Still too much to take in at once. I look to Ash for help, but his eyebrows are drawn in a frown. If he keeps staring at me, if he keeps staring like that at his cup, I'm pretty sure it'll crack soon.
There's still something you're not telling.
Didn't I tell you everything the other day?
Yeah, but you mentioned the rights, then you proceeded to drop the topic right after. What's with that?
Look at his happy face. He's just like, "Hi, I'm speaking to people."
They don't have anything to do with this.
Rights. Luke and Hannah, right?
Yeah, they're the ones who got the place.
Ah, I'm not surprised. They're the kind who gets what they want when they set their eyes on it, from what I've heard. Word gets around.
A heavy sigh escapes my lips. Popular or not, they're just clients, albeit a little pushy, but just clients. End of story. I wish he'd stop pestering on about them. What is it, again, that Becca does when dealing with a particularly difficult child? The pesky, annoying kind? I wish I could remember. Could certainly use the same trick right
Ashton,
now.
look here. I know you're trying to help, but the deal's almost already closed. The papers are being prepared. Once it's done, it's over. I'm just their agent.
And when is that happening?
When what? Is there even a purpose to this line of questioning?
Your working relationship with them. When's it going to end?
About a week from now? It depends on how long the papers will take, but they want us to rush it.
Really? You're absolutely sure about that?
Yes, really. Unless they want to buy a house again and want me and Rose to be their agent. If yes, then I don't see a problem with it. Now stop annoying me about it.
Don't accept it.
What? Why? It's my job.
Oh lord, even my younger siblings aren't this difficult to deal with. Then again, Ash is far from a younger sibling to me. If he'd only spell it out, surely I'd understand. We wouldn't even have to talk about it right now. That's how it is, right? I find an even ground, then talk about it like the adults we are. It wasn't like this before. But somehow along the way, something has changed in us as people, as friends, because you're in love. I wish there's a way I could tell when or why, because you're in love. Instead, I'm searching blindly for reasons. Next thing we know, we'll be drifting further and further apart. How frustrating.
Now, kids, settle down. We're not going to solve anything by shouting.
Sorry, Sir Andrew.
And we're not going to solve anything either if you keep omitting things.
Speak for yourself. I'm not the only one doing it.
You'll have to forgive my former student, Miss Santos. He's always been the curious kind. Many people think he's lazy, but it's actually the opposite. I see that hasn't changed.
Oh, really? How is he back when he was your student? I'm sorry, I need to ask. He doesn't talk much about that.
And there's a reason why. Please don't.
Tried to sleep on the first day of class.
Huh.
He didn't repeat it after what I made him do when I caught him. Students like him are the easiest to deal with, once you know what piques their interest. I'd have to say, he's one of the very few who's actually interested in the subject, though. But there was this one time when...
By the end of the conversation, Ash looks like he's praying for the ground to swallow him. He's never been one to talk about himself. What I know about him are mostly bits and pieces I've gleaned over the years. He's an atrocious singer, he's bad at art, he has his personal vendetta against mornings. Now it feels like it isn't that hard to figure out at all. Past noon when Andrew has to leave us for another meeting, but before we
Miss
separate...
Santos, a word of advice. Just keep in mind that when it comes to cases such as this, they aren't always what they seem.
Naturally, the mansion in the letter was brought up several times during our talk. And though Ash is right, in that Andrew offers a different perspective, he has left me with more questions than answers instead. What is she? What does she want from me? Is she ever going to leave? They'll continue to bug me after we've left the coffee shop. I don't even notice when Ash takes a different turn on our way back.
Where are we going? You can drop me off at the park.
Guess. You have 3 chances.
I'm serious, Ash. Where are we going?
He doesn't answer, but shortly he stops his car in front of a small, nondescript food stall a little away from the movie house. If I wasn't paying closer attention, I'd have missed it without a doubt. He motions for me to wait as he gets out of the car, and walks in its direction. Sheesh, if you want to buy something, just say it. No need to make yourself look mysterious. Makes you look more like a dork than cool. The wait isn't long, however. Soon he's walking back holding 2 fish-shaped cones in both hands. Ice cream, parfait, cross between the two. By the time he's back inside the car, I've given up effort trying to figure out what he bought. Not that it looks bad. It's actually quite cute.
Here, take it.
I have to move my head back a little when he thrusts it at me. That sounds too dirty. To avoid the ice cream and the fruit toppings from ending up on my nose.
What's this for?
My arm's getting tired. 5, 4, 3, 2.
With a wary glance, I take it off his hands. Still don't understand why there's need for ice cream today. Nevertheless, I take a small bite. It's actually pretty good. I must have shown him my face because he chuckles as soon as I take another one.
Saw the place open the other day when we watched Zach's movie. Thought I should give it a try. It doesn't seem like a bad place to get food from time to time.
And you're giving me free ice cream because...
He loves you.
Do I need to have a reason?
Are you really going to ask me that?
Here's the thing with Ashton Frey. He does not just treat people to free food because he feels like it. He's that much of a Scrooge. Hell, he even asked me to teach him how to haggle once. Haggle, of all the people who'd asked me that. I'd have expected such a request from Becca, but Ash? Not at all. I'm going to be honest. He looks a bit constipated with that expression on his face right now. I think he's starting to regret ever buying this.
The other day? The movie with Zach and Rebecca? Rebecca's there, yeah, I think so. Yeah. Anyway, during the movie, we, that's to say, we...
Oh, Ashton.
Shit. Should have written down something first.
Get to the point, Ashton.
Right. I'm sorry.
What?
I'm sorry for, not getting to the point. I'm sorry for the other day. I got carried away. I said things that upset you. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay? That's all? That's all you're going to say? You're not still angry, are you?
You didn't have to buy me anything. A simple sorry would have been enough.
Bite into the cone again, a small attempt to keep myself occupied and relieve the heat crawling up my face. They're in love. Doesn't work, but at least I don't have to look at him. Why am I feeling embarrassed over an apology? I have no idea. Not like it wasn't called for. They were being mean, especially him, and in that fraction of a second it hits me. He skipped his day off just for today. I should be the one apologising and thanking him. Silence is an awkward company while we finish our respective snacks. There are words for this. People like us, for understandings and sentiments like this. Yet, in this instant, they won't come. As promised, he drops me off at the park right after. Phrases unsaid, still hanging heavily in the air. In this weather, the city park gives off a lazier, more languid vibe than usual. Where children are usually seen running around and playing, there are now people lying, leaning back on the picnic baskets, simply enjoying the afternoon sun. The smell of food drifts from nearby carts, and if the wind blows in the right direction, one would catch the whiff of freshly trimmed grass. Maybe I should try walking home today, to get my mind off things. Try and find those words somehow. I haven't done that in a while.
Thanks, Ash, for today.
No problem. Say hi to Rebecca for me.
Yeah, I will.
Even so, I linger. We both do. A mild, humid breeze brings the smell of dried leaves, warmed earth, far off, distant memory. All starts and awkward first meetings, same place, same people, playing the same parts. Funny how, of all days, my brain chooses to remember it now.
Wait, Belle.
Ash exits his car, his strides are unsteady as when he approaches me, or maybe this is his uncertainty showing, I'm not quite sure. He's never looked uncertain to me before. Always calm, always sure, always collected. He stops a short distance from me, close enough that he's within arm's reach, but just far enough that for his voice to be heard over a decent small talk. This is what's going to be. He fumbles for something in his pocket.
Catch.
A small bag lands cleanly on my outstretched hand before it hits the ground. I raise an eyebrow at him. He responds by shrugging and stuffing both his hands back into his pockets. Somewhere on the side, he finds an interesting spot to look at. Sometimes you have to wait, Papa said long ago. Once this time, I listen. His voice is halting, hesitant. When he finds it again...
My mom used to make me carry around one of those when I was young. To ward off evil and bring you luck, she said. I don't believe in this stuff now, but if it makes you feel safe since you're a total scaredy cat, then I guess it's okay to give you one to carry around.
Perhaps at the moment there isn't any words for it. I've never been good with those. But right now, I could thank him only in the best way I know. Yeah, you're not bad after all. I close the short distance separating us. Oh, that rocketed it up. And lightly in place of phrases one couldn't spin together or answer too early to seek out, I lean over. Give him a little peck on the cheek. Touch is soft, fleeting. Kind that speaks volumes of boundaries we don't often cross as friends. Nevertheless, the thought is there. It lingers. The gentle autumn wind that passes and the empty spaces separating us when I step back and look up at him with a smile. It's easy to express gratefulness this way. At least with my own family that's the case. For the two of us, I'm not quite sure. Did he understand? After all, gratitude is considerably harder to put into words when you've spent the latter half of your friendship teetering between good-natured jests and ruffling each other's feathers. Seconds pass before he clears his throat. His face has gone remarkably red, whether from the heat or something else, I can't quite tell. But he understands. I know he does. Because the smile on him when he finally meets my eyes is the gentlest I've seen him show.
Gotta go. Got some reports I forgot to file the other day.
Yeah, see you around. Thanks for the ice cream and the charm.
Don't lose it. You won't find one here again if you do.
I won't. I might move like I have 2 left feet, but I know how to take care of my own stuff. I'm not a total klutz.
I know.
And Belle, remember that one time? Devlin Court?
Oh, I do, with all the clarity in the world.
At the time, what I'm trying to say is that you can rely on me if anything happens. Not the exact same thing, of course, but you get the idea. I'll be around.
I'll keep that in mind. You're not that bad after all.
Before leaving, he waves at me one last time. Next time we talk, we'll be back to the way we were. Because at the end of the day, that's how things have always moved between us. What we're familiar with, what we're comfortable with. But for all that, It's easy to put my own faith in him. Just hope. I just hope I can keep them safe. Keep him safe. A light wind blows again, sending dried leaves swirling in the distance, the smell of earth into the air. For the first time, the sunlight feels less harsh. Maybe a walk is good? I need to visit the grocery too. Come to think of it, wasn't there an art store that opened recently near the park? Cat's name is Baruthiel. Or at least that's what his collar says. An odd name to give to a cat, in my opinion, but it speaks grace much like the one it carries. It shows the way he swishes his tail, and his eyes follow my hands with every movement. I'm not sure what he finds fascinating in me, to be honest. I wasn't the very picture of grace when he found me, after all. Is it a bad idea, carrying 2 heavy bags of newly bought art materials and groceries without help or a sure ride home? In hindsight, perhaps I shouldn't have bought all these at the same time. I didn't even make it past the park. And now I'm suffering underneath the glaring afternoon sun, hunched up on a park bench and drenched in sweat, in the company of a cat curiously watching my every move. I hope it stays where it is. Just a black cat, but back home they're considered ill omens.
Don't look at me like that. I can act graceful as well if I want to.
Not that I've ever acted graceful in my life, of course. Growing up with rowdy younger brothers and sisters does that. Or maybe it's the opposite. Mum used to call me little troublemaker before. Well, graceful or not, there's no use moping. Short breather, then I'm off home. Besides, it isn't like the company's bad, even if it's a cat, as long as he doesn't bite or crosses my path.
Where's your owner, anyway?
He has one, doesn't he? An owner? That's what a collar's for, isn't it? Bandage is wrapped on one of his paws, though. I wonder how it happened. Did he run away?
Well, if you don't have one, I won't be able to take you in. My apartment doesn't allow pets. I tried to bring one home before, a cat. Not black, of course. And Rebecca threw a fit before the landlady could.
Take a small packet of sweets from one of the bags beside me and pop it open. As I'm about to put one in my mouth, he meows. My hand stops.
Do you want...
He doesn't meow again as I'm expecting him to, but I take his unblinking gaze as a yes. I shift the piece in my palm and hold it out to him warily. He sniffs at it once, twice before...
Baruthia!
Like a good, properly trained pet, Baruthiel responds as soon as he is called. Recognition comes as soon as my head snaps in the direction of the voice. Miss McCullough's hard to miss. With her height.
I'm sorry. Did my cat hurt you?
Let's have a look. Do I now have their profiles? No. How tall is Marianne?
Miss Santos, was it? I'm surprised to see you here.
Nice to meet you again, Miss McCullough.
Were you harmed in any way? I'm sorry. Baruthiel's not exactly fond of other people. Even run away from the veterinarian right now.
Oh no, he was just sniffing my hand earlier.
My Baruthiel's a she.
Sorry. She? All this time I thought, pausing conversation, if this can be called one, is uncomfortable. We're merely 2 people working different jobs for the same client. Frankly, meetings like this don't happen a lot, and if it does, a simple nodding of a head is enough. Trying to be friendly won't hurt, right? Talk about her job.
I'm just curious. About your work.
Oh! That shut up ridiculous amounts.
What about it?
Something guarded in her expression at the mention of work, but I pushed through with my question.
I just want to know how it is to work on a house like the Ermengarde mansion.
Ermengarde.
Is it hard?
Ermengarde mansion. I guess she wasn't expecting a question like that, if the way her eyebrow shot up tells me something.
Because of its age? I wouldn't say it is. It is a challenge, considering the factors me and my team have to sort out. But it's a good project. A breath of fresh air from what I usually work on. Those original fittings, though. It might be old, but the architecture is magnificent.
Look at how she's beaming talking about this.
I'm sure you've seen the stained glass windows in the foyer. Oh, I can already think of so many things I could do with it. But of course, my team will have to double check for necessary repairs here and there. That's probably for the best. It's easy to break some key elements with a rush restoration job, and who knows what other hidden issues there might be underneath. People can be so careless. I'm sorry, I spoke too much.
No, it's okay. You seem to really love what you're doing.
It's not really like that. I'm just lucky to have found work in an interesting field.
Oh, the little blushing face.
Anyway, Bruthiel's due for her visit to the vet. Nice talking to you, Miss Santos. I wish you luck with what you're planning to work on. It seems like a big project, too.
She gestures with her head towards the bag, the one filled with stuff I've recently bought from the art store.
It's a project for a friend, actually.
All the same, good luck.
I watch her as she leaves, though she stops shortly before crossing the threshold separating the park and the street. She faces me again, looking like something she has forgotten to say.
By the way, about the Ermengarde mansion, with my clients...
Ermengarde mansion.
The rights, I mean...
Yeah?
I hope you don't mind me asking, but has the deal been finalized?
There's still a few papers they need, but the house is more or less theirs now.
Ah, thank you. That's all I needed to know.
Wait, about the mansion. The
letter, the same one they saw. Whoever she is, she's asking for help. Someone. I want to tell Miss McCullough about the urban legends aren't just legends anymore. They're real. He's not going to believe me.
Don't mind me. I need to go too. Have a good day, Miss McCullough.
I hastily pick up the bags I've left on the bench and run as far as my legs can take me. In that moment, what I'm carrying in my hand weighs far lighter than the overwhelming guilt trying to consume me. Home. Want to go home. Anywhere where I won't be reminded of the house. My own cowardice. Food tastes less appetizing tonight. A pity. One would think that someone who had been on a continuous binge of instant noodles would find a home-cooked meal enjoyable. But it isn't. Hunger isn't what's gnawing at me tonight, neither is my sore muscles. TV runs loudly in the background, but what it says barely registers in my brain. It's hard when the things you're trying to forget keep returning to the forefront of your mind. It distracts you, eats at you, devours you. I wish this would stop. I wish I weren't the one who picked it up. I wish it was someone else.
In other local news, a woman was found dead in her home yesterday evening. Luxbourne police officials are currently investigating the crime scene, but has classified the case as homicide.
Huh?
The victim, identified as Rose Pamela Cooper, 33 years old, working as a real estate agent.
Rose?
Discovered lying in a pool of blood in her two-bedroom flat with the words "Help me" repeatedly written on the walls.
No. This isn't what I want. This isn't supposed to happen. None of this is supposed to happen. No one is supposed to die. Those are just stories, right? Legends. What everyone keeps telling me, so why? And I... Immediately, I rush to my study table in search of my phone. My hand, cold from dread, clings tightly as soon as it touches its edges. A piece of folded paper, the letter, lying unassumingly beside it, slips to the floor when I pick up the device, but I pay it no mind. There are more important things. Right now, I need to call her. I was with her just not that long ago, and she was okay. No. This isn't Rose, I'm sure of it. I just talk to her and a sob escapes me. And hot tears begin to blur my vision. One after another they trickle down. This music's not good. I'll be back in 1 sec. Right, here we go. But yeah, this music really isn't. Same one I've been hiding from. Same one that has been putting people I care about in danger. My hands shake as I navigate Rose's number in my contacts list. She'll answer, right? Well, she always does. She'll pick it up. She'll tell me to turn down the waterworks and tell me what a wuss I am afterwards.
She'll answer. Please answer, Rose.
Again and again I dial, whispering, praying, pleading.
Come on, Rose. Don't do this to me. Please pick up. I know you're there, Rose. You're not dead. Please tell me you're not.
This adds to the series of deaths and disappearances that has plagued Luxbourne in the recent years. The authorities are currently looking at a possible link with the notorious Anselm Butcher case.
TV runs loudly in the background, deafening static sounds from my phone speakers. In my ears, I can only hear the screams, her pleas, her whispers. Help me. We are not safe. What? A buzzing sensation jolts me awake. My body still wants to sleep, to forget what I heard, what I saw last night, but there's nudging, prodding at me. Slowly I become aware of how awkward my position is, and the aches that accompany sleeping in a curled up position the night before. If I even slept at all. Memories are impossible to forget now that Rose is gone. They say it's easy when you say it out loud instead of the words weigh heavier on me each time. She's gone. Not because of me? Not because of the letter I was too curious to look at? Should have been more careful. I should have just kept my mouth shut. I should have destroyed it before anyone else had got involved. I should have. The notification light on my laptop blinks, incessantly mocking. When I look at it, it's as if pulling me back to a sense of normalcy. And the light, I check it nevertheless out of habit. So this is from BRC, strict attendance required. In the light of recent events, there will be an all-staff emergency meeting from 1 PM to 2 PM. Attendance is a must. Company changes, new hierarchy and policies will all be discussed during the meeting. Everyone is expected to bring a copy of their own attendance logs and sales report for the last 6 months to be submitted to your respective managers for review. If this were one of those typical days, I'd happily comply and get myself to our office. Today my limbs are just heavy. One in hand. On one hand, going will keep me busy, take my mind elsewhere. On the other, the place is a stark reminder of what my own fears have cost me. Just go to work. Moping won't get me anywhere. It's just one of those things, isn't it? You'll deal with it with a smile no matter how bad things get and hope for the best. Although my whole body feels like lead and my limbs are sore, I push myself away from the chair, head towards the shower. The letter dropped on the floor last night flutters open as I pass by, unfolding for no one else but for me to see. Every word written on it glares back at me. They sneer. They ridicule. Like living beings fully aware of what they've done. With a huff, I pick it up and shove it into my bag, perhaps with more anger and frustration than I'm used to showing. This too, I'll deal with. Somehow, I'll find a way to make it all right. I have to. Before it takes more people from me. Even if I must do it on my own. Papers rustling, telephones ringing, feet shuffling. Overall, today looks like a typical work day at Briar Realty Corporation. I need to stop calling Briarty. Except it isn't. The air is thick with tension and unspoken questions. No doubt everyone present has already heard about Rose. They missed last night's report, then they'd likely see it in this morning's news, in the papers, or on various news sites on the internet. Everywhere is a bit of a reminder. In fact, everyone's giving me a wide berth, as though the mere mention of Rose would be enough to trigger something in me. It's appreciated, but it only serves to create a bigger hole in the place Rose has left. For lunch, my boss calls for a meeting. I don't have to look up from my work to know what it's about. He's in a strange, pensive mood, probably out of respect for a dead colleague. Oddly, I appreciate it more than if he shouted at me today. Anything is better.
I'm sure you've all heard of what happened to Miss Cooper. She was a valued member of our team and she will be missed. There's no date for a funeral, yet, but those who wish to attend, kindly speak with your respective supervisors. By the way, has anyone heard about our still AWOL staff? None? HR, you know what to do. Santos, a word? In my office?
At the end of it, I've been given the entirety of Rose's workload, including finalizing the rights papers, and have been promised an ample compensation for my efforts. I think it is expecting me to be happy about it. Instead, I immerse myself in work. I have to. Anyway, if I want to forget. Time flies when you do the same thing. Time flies when you do, and by the time I give notice, it's already late. Everyone's already gone, leaving me in the company of the radios, member of our janitorial staff. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Oh, what? Hold on. There we go. Rose likely does. She remembers people easily like that.
The Luxbourne Police Department continues its search for the following reported missing people.
Guaranteed as well. I've probably just unknowingly raised their volumes again. Radio blares one name after another. Hold on a second. Missing? Aren't they? Still, I have to check. Frantic, I turn back to my desktop. The loud tapping of fingers against the keys fills the office for a better part of my shift as I look through everything. The background about the place, its history with the current owners, a list of employees hired under BRC. And I'm right. Of course I am. BRC may have a lot of staff and may have a lot of agents hired, but I remember those names anywhere. After all, they're also part of the crew who worked with us preparing the mansion for the open house. And the letters... Oh, it can't be. I hope it's not what I'm thinking.
Rose is...
Something snaps in place in the fraction of a moment. These people, Rose, the letter.
I need to... No. If it's like this, they still won't believe me.
Evidence doesn't lie. Well, Ash often says, right? If I have proof, then maybe... I don't want to get my hopes up yet, but there's still a way I can save them. The letter, my phone, papers, everything that will be useful, I grab all of them and stuff them into my bag. I can't stay here. There's something I need to do. There's something those people should. The noise cuts sharply through the room, stopping my hand short of cramming my pen into my bag.
Hello? Anyone there?
Someone must have left the printer open again. I may be in a hurry, but if I don't turn it off, another person is certainly going to have to fix it. Have a fit tomorrow over wasted company resources. Most of the time it's Rose who does the nagging, but clicking my pen in my hand is a welcome distraction as I search for the said object. Each stride my feet takes also echoes throughout the empty workplace. I've lost sight of the janitor minutes ago, and with me being the only one left, tapping my feet against the wooden floor is something I soon learn to appreciate. I don't like the fact that we're alone. It doesn't take me long to find it. By the time I turn it off, 5 pages are already strewn on the ground, the paper tray having also been left ajar. Sighing, I pick up each of them, put someplace proper. But the page that greets me next makes my blood run cold. So he was printing copies of this fucking note. The chill that makes its way up my spine is as numbing as that day in the attic. The sheets crinkle under my tense grip. All I can hear is my breathing as it rasps. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's giving me 5 copies. I can give it to 5 people. Ah! As if hearing every horrid thought running inside my head right now, something snaps. A soft creak, grating through the thin veil of stillness that has descended the room. Every muscle, every bone in my body goes rigid at the sound. Familiar. So familiar now. God, that is loud. Yet my own traitorous curiosity still presses me to take a careful peek over the cubicle walls. You did have to literally run down the stairs as I'm greeted by this. Yeah. It's her. Standing in the only exit of the office, albeit facing away from me. It doesn't even need to turn around for me to know it's the same misshapen face, tattered clothes and unsightly gait. The same person in the attic. Take a step back, the pen I'm holding slips from my hand and her entire head turns. A scream almost escapes my mouth as I duck under my tables as quickly as I can. My heart is pounding against my chest. I can hear the bone-chilling sounds of her walk, the weird clicking that follows her, and a telltale squelch of something wet as she walks towards me, nearer and nearer. Sounds are slowly getting louder. The only thing keeping the whimper from escaping me is the hand that covers my mouth. Someone, please save me. Anyone. Close my eyes, muttering Don't close your fucking eyes! All while attempting to steady my own breathing. Please, please don't let her hear me. Oh shit. Oh no, 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 no.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
You're trying to stay quiet, so you say the Lord's Prayer. The last lines of my prayer have left me. All that remains is a hush. None of her footsteps, none of those chilling sounds he makes. Only silence. Is it safe? Another second passes and when nothing comes? Ah! Jesus fucking Christ. Oh God. Well, at least she can't die. Oh my days.
Our Father, give us and lead us not into temptation.
Yep. Only silence. Is it safe? Something comes what? Oh no, she's right fucking next to me. Look at that creepy face. I'm dead. Jesus Christ, this minigame is hard. No, fuck me. Well,
Forgive us and lead.
Hi. This isn't going well. So it's got a slight delay on it, it seems. I've got to do it just as it's about to get there. Oh. Seconds, minutes stretch out before me, agonizing. Is she gone? Slowly I open my eyes to take a peek. I don't dare move, make a noise. In the face of such a terror, I only beg, let out silent... I can only beg, let out silent pleas to whoever is out there. Please, please don't let her notice. I want to live.